Bro, Carnell Tate, Denzel Boston, and the offensive arsenal that Adam Peters is building around Jaden Daniels right now is already making the rest of the NFC shake. This just got confirmed by Ben Standing out of Ashburn, by Mina Kimes from ESPN, and by Matthew Berry. This isn't fan noise. This isn't Twitter speculation. This is real draft intel showing you that Peters isn't waiting for one plan to hit. He's attacking from multiple fronts at the same time with a sense of urgency you can literally feel in every move this week. And look, there are 3 stories this week that are fully connected in ways almost nobody around the DMV is seeing clearly yet. The first will tell you exactly why AIYUK alone isn't enough and who the real names are sliding into Washington's receiver room before the draft. The second will show you why the 7th overall pick in Peters' hands is truly the most dangerous ticking bomb in the first round for the rest of the league. And the third, that third one will leave you speechless because it involves Terry McLaurin, a label that stings to even mention, and the pass rusher who was inches away from being in burgundy and gold and who literally nobody in the DMV is talking about the way they should be. If you believe in this new Washington era, hit that like button right now and subscribe. This is the Commanders Revolution, and this channel is where it's all getting documented live. News 1, AIYUK isn't enough. Commanders targeting Tate. Boston, all right, fam, let's do an honest reality check on Washington's wide receiver room because we need the full picture before jumping into what's about to blow your mind. Terry McLaurin is your number 1, though, with real durability and performance questions after the roughest season of his career. Luke McCaffrey flashes here and there, but is still a mid-sized mystery at the NFL level. Jalen Lane has juice, but no real resume yet at scale in this league. Van Jefferson and Diami Brown both signed 1-year deals, and nobody in their right mind sees either as part of a long-term plan. And Brandon AIYUK, the hottest name in every Commander circle, is still technically in San Francisco. While the Niners play the waiting game, if looking at that receiver room right now gives you offensive chills, please explain exactly what it is you're seeing because I'm not there yet. But Peter sure is working with urgency, and what's happening this week is honestly fascinating to watch in real time. Zachary Pareles from CBS Sports summed it up perfectly this week. He said wide receiver remains Washington's top remaining priority, even after everything they've done this offseason with 14 new faces on the roster so far. His punchline hit hard. AIYUK alone shouldn't cut it for Washington. Peters can and should do more. His words were straight up facts. Commanders went after Alec Pierce and Romeo Doubs, but got neither. They weighted their free agency moves heavily on defense. Offensive additions like Brown and Jefferson came on cheap 1-year flyers. And while AIYUK may be the next big splash once the Niners let him walk, Washington could and should still dive deeper. Fam, that's CBS saying it, not just me. That validates exactly what a lot of us have been thinking all along. So what does do more mean in practice? It means exactly what we're watching this week. It means bringing in Carnell Tate on a top 30 visit. It means bringing in Denzel Boston for another top 30 visit. It means having active convos with multiple agents and reps. It means covering bases across free agency, the draft, and the still unsigned market all at once. Peters ain't waiting for one domino. He's building multiple roads to the same destination, giving Jaden Daniels a real offensive arsenal to roll with. And that multi-front approach, that's exactly what separates an average GM from one who actually knows how to build a contender. Let's start with Carnell Tate because that name already carries deep meaning for Commanders talk. Tate played at Ohio State just like Terry McLaurin, creating both a cultural and locker room chemistry link that matters more in college football pipelines than people usually give credit for. But beyond that shared alma mater, what makes Tate a straight-up exciting prospect is his route technique, When you slow down his tape, watch his shoulder work at the line, the foot precision, that fluid body control into his breaks, then you get why film junkies are falling hard for this kid. He's smooth in a way you just can't fake. You either have it or you don't. Tate's got it. Mina Kimes from ESPN nailed it this week. She called Tate a perfect partner for McLaurin, explaining how together they'd unlock Jaden Daniels' full potential. Route smoothness, elite hands, the ability to stress defenses inside or outside, and that extra layer of depth that completely changes how you can use McLaurin. If McLaurin beats you with precision and football IQ, Tate adds flexibility that forces opposing coordinators to adjust and open space across the field. That's the kind of combo that upgrades a passing game from good to scary. Matthew Berry took it one step further. He said plain and clear that while most folks expect Washington to go defensive in round 1, if the top 3 edge rushers are gone before pick number 7, don't be shocked if the Commanders take Carnell Tate right there. Bro, that's massive. That means there's a real internal argument for Tate as a legitimate top 10 pick, not a fallback, but a true option on their board. That's next level conversation right there. Now here's the twist. A second name just dropped into the Commanders draft chat. Denzel Boston, wide receiver from the Washington Huskies, 6'4", 209 pounds, physical as hell, and the kind of problem that's been haunting draft corners all offseason. Ben Standing, probably the most well-connected Commanders insider out there, reported that Washington's bringing Boston in for a top 30 visit this week. And fam, those visits aren't just curiosity, they're serious evaluations. That's the organization saying, we see something here. Why is Boston such a perfect puzzle piece for Washington? Because he fixes one glaring issue, real size on the outside. McLaurin's great, but he's not your jump ball receiver. That's not his design. Boston is. He caught nearly 68% of contested passes, dropped only 2 balls across over 100 targets, and posted a run blocking grade above 84 on PFF. Top 3 in his class. That's not just glam stats. That's a complete football player mentality. The tricky part is value math. Taking Boston at 7 feels rich for a team missing a second rounder. And Boston's unlikely to fall out of round 1. So the realistic path for Washington is a trade down, slide from 7 into the mid-teens, snag more capital, and still have a shot at Boston. Risky? Yeah, but the upside makes it worth exploring. What's genuinely thrilling about this whole picture, bro, is imagining how that receiver room could look if Peters hits the right moves. Picture it. AIYUK comes in once San Francisco lets him go, bringing pre-built chemistry with Daniels. McLaurin steps up as the veteran voice in what might be a make-or-break year, and then you drop Tate or Boston, or even both through different mechanisms, into the mix. Daniels would be staring down the defense at the line with elite options everywhere. That's not fantasy. That's roster math, and that, fam, is pure chills. Okay, bro? Pause. Because the next piece is what makes all this possible. That 7th overall pick, and why that number in Adam Peters' hands is more dangerous than anybody's admitting yet. Let's roll. News 2, the 7th pick is a ticking time bomb in Adam Peters' hands. Fam, ride with me for a sec because there's something most of the draft coverage around Washington is completely sleeping on. Everyone's pointing out that the Commanders are light on picks after last year's Laramie Tunsil trade. Only 2 selections in the first 4 rounds, which sounds limiting, but there's a twist that changes everything. Peters walked into this draft with fewer needs thanks to the most aggressive free agent spree this org has had in years. When your urgent needs drop, your board flexibility skyrockets. That transforms pick 7 from fill a hole to take the best player available and build around him. That mindset shift, bro, is everything. John Costco from Pro Football Focus mapped it perfectly. The 7th pick gives Washington the flexibility to go big on offensive line, grab an offensive playmaker, or stack elite defense, or valid plan B, trade down, rack more capital, and accelerate the roster build while Daniels' rookie contract is still cheap. That's long-term vision, 5 years out, not 5 weeks. The catch? The market for a trade down this year is weirdly quiet, with basically no round 1 quarterbacks outside of Fernando Mendoza, who's locked in at number 1 to the Raiders. The usual trade-up fuel is missing. Teams don't go wild trading up unless a QB's on the line. Still, Peters could find a partner wanting a blue-chip non-QB. It's tougher, not impossible, and that's where Peters shines. His calm and consistency as a talent evaluator is what you want in that chair. Last year, he took Josh Connerly Jr. at pick 29, slid him to right tackle, and built one of the best tackle duos in the NFC alongside Tunsil. That was pure board reading skill. Take the best player, figure out fit later. So if he sits at 7 this year with no perfect trade package, he's going to do it again. Take his highest rated prospect without flinching. That's steady leadership. That's why Washington's dangerous on draft night. Dangerous because there's no single hinge move they're desperate for. If they trade down, they win picks and still get a solid player. If they stay and pick best available, they strengthen the core. There's literally no bad scenario as long as the process is clean, and Peters' process is about as clean as it gets. Look at the roster already. Daniels at quarterback playing like he's got a cheat code on. Laramie Tunsil locking down the blind side. McLaurin as a proven, if battered, top vet. A retooled, faster defense. The bones are there. What's left to add is strategic muscle and youthful depth. So this team's not just good in 2026, but still stacked in 2028 and beyond. That 7th pick might be the link that connects it all. The piece that turns potential into full structure. Because having an elite QB and O-line means little if you don't weaponize him properly while the rookie deal window's open. That's your golden window. Peters gets that. That's why this pick isn't just another pick. It's potentially the key to unlocking Washington's next era. All right, breathe, bro, because now we're closing with 2 stories that intertwine perfectly. The growing tension around Terry McLaurin and Washington's biggest almost move of the offseason. News 3, McLaurin, most overpaid. What Hendrickson, almost a commander. All right, fam, real talk. This part isn't easy for me to say because Terry McLaurin's one of those players you build a real emotional bond with as a fan. We've all seen this dude give everything for Washington through forgotten seasons. Through mediocre quarterbacks, Aiden's still pulling 1,000-yard years out of nowhere because his craft, effort, and heart just outran his circumstances. That's why when Brad Gagnon from Bleacher Report dropped his piece this week, naming McLaurin the most overpaid player in the entire NFL, bro, that one hit differently. It's not just numbers, it's emotional weight. But yeah, numbers don't lie. McLaurin's 3-year, $97 million contract makes him the league's 7th highest paid receiver. In 2025, his first year under that deal, he posted career lows, 38 catches, 582 yards, 3 scores, missing 7 games with injuries, career high in missed time. And Gagnon's logic is harsh but fair. A top 7 paid WR who's never broken 1,200 yards, hit 8 TDs just once, and never crossed 90 catches? That's a ceiling issue straight up. Still, here's what most people miss. McLaurin skipped basically the entire previous offseason due to that contract standoff. No OTAs, no minicamp, hardly any reps before the season. Meanwhile, Jaden Daniels was in his crucial chemistry-building phase with the offense, learning timing, reads, unspoken signals, all that QB receiver language. McLaurin wasn't there for most of it, and that fam makes a noticeable difference on Sundays. Does that excuse the dip fully? Not exactly, but it paints a truer picture than just one cold headline. Matthew Berry made it clear this week if McLaurin doesn't deliver in 2026, it could be his last year in Washington. Insiders told him the front office knows the WR room needs more speed and juice, and patience isn't endless. That's a wake-up call. McLaurin's got 12 months to prove the deal still makes sense, that he can still be that number 1. And honestly, I hope he does, because when he's right, healthy and synced with his QB, he's still magic. The upside in all this is that the Commanders aren't sitting on their hands. They're being proactive, bringing in Tate, checking in on Boston, tracking AIYUK. Real competition could actually spark McLaurin back into form. Iron sharpens iron, bro. And if that means he shifts into a 1B role while a younger receiver takes 1A, that's fine too. What matters is Daniels having real options every down. Now for the what if of the offseason, Trey Hendrickson, after locking Odafe into a 4-year, $96 million deal with 50-plus guaranteed, Washington still went swinging for Hendrickson. Per Nikki Javala from The Athletic. Yeah, fam, they wanted both those edge monsters in the same trench. That tells you everything about how seriously Peters rated the defensive whole after finishing dead last in total defense last season. Hendrickson ended up with Baltimore on a 4-year, $112 million deal, averaging 28 per year with 60 guaranteed. Huge money for a 31-year-old coming off core muscle surgery. But 4 straight years with 17.5 sacks or more? That'll get you paid. Just imagine for a second, bro, Hendrickson and Owe lining up across from each other in burgundy and gold. The NFC would be in therapy every Monday. What fascinates me beyond the drama is what it says about Peters' drive. He didn't sign OA and chill. He kept pushing, knowing the defense needed a full overhaul, not a patch job. He also added Charles Omenihu and Kaylavon Chason on cheaper deals for depth. And with nearly 50 mil of cap space still sitting there right now, don't rule out more moves before draft day. Peters doesn't rest when everyone else does, fam. That's the energy you want steering your franchise. Fam, if you've ridden with me this far, then you already know. The conversation around the Commanders right now isn't blind fan hope. It's stacked evidence of a team built with intention, urgency, and clear awareness that they've got a generational QB whose cheap window won't last forever. AIYUK's on deck. Tate or Boston could arrive via the draft. Peters has the 7th pick as his power card. The defense is being rebuilt top to bottom with real energy. That's not an off-season survival act. That's a hunt. Will everything go perfectly? Come on. Football never does, bro. But what I can tell you for sure is that for the first time in forever, being a Commanders fan doesn't feel like crossing your fingers and praying. It feels like confidence. Earned, proven, and built on real moves. That's different energy. And that, fam, is exactly why we're keeping this conversation alive every single day. So hit subscribe if you haven't yet. Tap that like if something today fired you up and drop your take below. Who should be Jaden Daniels' number 2 weapon? Carnell Tate, Denzel Boston, or straight-up Brandon AIYUK? And does McLaurin get one more shot, or is the clock already ticking out? You know I hit the replies. See you in the next one. Hail to the football fam. Let's ride.